I'm Rob Vesna. I'm the PCI Express Product Marketing Engineer at Agilent Technologies. I'm here to present a tutorial on the use, setup, and evaluation of your protocol test card for Gen 3. In order to run today's test for the protocol test card for Gen 3, I'll refer to it as a PTC3 moving forward, you need the following devices to run this test. You need a host computer, you need a backplane, and you need the exerciser card configured as a protocol test card for the Gen 3 tests. In order to run the PTC3 tests, you'd use the backplane, our N5316A, as an interconnect between the U4305 configured as a PTC3. The backplane provides multiple slots for which you plug in your PTC into one of the rear slots, and then it provides an interconnect to the front slot which will be used for your device under test. For the purpose of our exercise here, we will use a second exerciser card, the U4305A, as an emulation for your PTC, and we'll plug that into the front slot. In this configuration, the backplane simply is connecting the rear to the front. Power up our backplane with our front connector, and then we bring up our power. And for my exerciser cards, I need power, and a USB connection to my host computer. The emulator, in this case, would also need power and a USB connection to my host. For a customer's device under test, you receive your power over the backplane. So now that we have our DUT and the PTC connected to our host computer, we're going to turn on the software application to configure our cards. First thing to note is that we are connecting to a new session, and you press start. While this is coming up, there are two cards identified here in this particular demonstration. Card 1 will be our PTC card. So we select it, we pull down the menu and select the PTC option for this particular card, and then select OK. While this is coming up, let me mention the second card. Since we are emulating a device under test with our second card, we will open up a second window and configure that card as the emulated downstream device, or your DUT. When you're running it on your actual DUT, you will not have to do this configuration because your card will already be configured with the proper lane width, the proper speed, as well as the configuration. So back to our software interface. First thing that you'll notice is that you'll have a general setting for the PTC3, and your compliance tests will be highlighted. Grayed out will be the other options that you could use for this particular exerciser card. So we go into the general settings. Under the compliance tests, we will deselect the by 16, by 8, and by 4. We only need to run a by 1 test. And since the PTC is driving the device under test, or your add-in card, the data stream is going to go down, not up. Select Apply. And then what we will do is collapse this window and open up a new software window for the second card, which is going to be set up as emulating your device under test. Again, connect to a new session, start, and select my second option, which is the 1002, and pull down our menu and select the exerciser for Gen 3 and say OK. Again, this is not required if you're using an actual add-in card for your company. So the thing to note here is that the compliance tests are grayed out because this is the device under test. Under general settings, we shouldn't have to do anything since this is already pre-selected as an upstream, and whatever lane width that you have on your device under test is pre-selected. Now that our software is set up, we're going to train the PTC3 to the DUT. In the case of this demo, I am using the exerciser configured as an end node. Therefore, I need to bring up that software interface identified by the fact that it is not the compliance test card. And we are going to initiate a link training with this button. So select it. You won't see any change here, but that's all we have to do to set up the device under test. We switch over to our other exerciser card with the windows down below, and you'll see that you're in the PTC because the compliance test window is highlighted. And in this case, we are similarly going to initiate a link training. And over on the right, what takes place is the link state goes active. You see we are at by 1 link width, and we are broadcasting at Gen 3 speed of 8 gigatransfers per second. If we want to break the link at this point, go over here to disable the exerciser, and you'll see that the link state goes to no link again. Re-invoking it, you start the link, and it goes active, and you'll see that the setup is again similar to what we just saw. In order to start the PTC3 tests, start with no link, and the PTC will train the link up as part of its compliance tests. So now that we've confirmed that we've successfully linked up with our DUT, we're going to select on the PTC side of the exerciser cards the compliance tests. Inside this window, you'll see the environment for running your PTC tests. This is a quick highlight. Up top are your run. Down the left column, you have your test cases that you can select. You have description in the center window. And off to the right, you will see your link status. Link status is fine to start as no link because the PTC3 will initiate the link as part of its test cases. So at this point, we select a new log file by selecting the file icon. And you can select the entire PTC3 test suite by selecting the PTC indicator here, or you can select individual cases and run them independently. For the purpose of completion, we will select all test cases and then go up to the run icon and select run. At this point, the indicator states that the PTC is running, and you will see some flashing, and a blue highlight will indicate the test which is being executed. And the results of the test will be either a green, yellow, or red. Green, of course, being a pass, a red being a fail, and in the case of a yellow, an indication that portions of the test have failed, or there were some errors to be specific, but other portions have passed. Therefore, the user needs to take a closer look as to what the details were when that failure occurred, or when that warning occurred. For the sake of the video, let's pause our tests and we'll take a look at the test results. Now that we've halted our test, we see an indication that we have had a failure with the red highlight. So let's go over to our report window, selecting the left side, and you can see the compliance report. This is your log. It is stored in an external file for review. And we can see the summary, and your log file shows up with the name of the test, the description of the test, and the results of the test, with the added benefit of a highlight to indicate green for pass, yellow for caution. Of course, there is no yellow here. And in this lowercase, a red for a fatal error. At this point, the user would have to go into the card, take a closer look as to the details and the description of this test in order to debug the failure mode on the card. And that is the end of the PTC 3 compliance test cases. So in summary, you've seen the devices that you need to run your protocol test card for PCI Express Gen 3. We've shown you how to set it up, how to configure, and how to run your tests. We've also shown you how to go into your log file and evaluate your results. For further information, please visit the URL below. Thanks for watching.